Hello again, everybody. It's me, Marcus, and I review stuff. Today I'm reviewing the song Crumbling Castle by King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Look, man, this channel was almost like worth it enough just because it's introduced me to King Gizzard. Like, if this channel has done nothing else for me, it's introduced me to King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, because they have become one of my favorite bands. Not even just favorite bands that I've heard on this channel. They've become one of my favorite bands. Like, they are just so versatile. They're so fun. They're so just creative and interesting that I've really enjoyed just about every song I've heard from them. And so I'm really excited for this one. I can't wait to see what they throw at me this time around. So, with Hentai Yumi and the Murder of the Universe, that one was so messed up, but so fun lyrically, so interesting. Before that, I had heard songs like Lord of Lightning versus Balrog. That was a lot of fun. I had heard Sense. That one was really groovy and fun. It was a different style. I've heard Psy Boogie, which was a totally different style. I heard, what was the last song I heard? Am I in Heaven, which was another weird, different style from them. So, I have no idea what to expect from this style. They could throw a country song in here for all I know. And I'd be like, oh yeah, that's King Gizzard. Yeah, sure. So, I have a lot of fun with this band. Every time I listen to them, it's a fun time. And yeah, it's great. So I can't wait. This one did come as a request from like forever ago, but finally got to it, and let's listen. This is Crumbling Castle, King Gizzard, and the Lizard Wizard. As always, if you want to make a request, just leave it in the comments below, and like this song, I'll get to it eventually, which could be months from now. So, yeah, keep those requests coming. All right, anyway, here we go. Oh, wait, there we go. Already a little different. that one was a lot of fun. I had a great time with that song. Lyrically, it's in line with a lot of what King Giz writes about. Instrumentally, it was different enough to keep me entertained, while still relying on some of the sort of tropes that King Gizzard plays with instrumentally. If I had one complaint about the song, it was probably that it went on a little bit too long. I feel like that last bit right there wasn't really needed. The I don't want to be a crumbling castle part over and over. Take that part out and end on that high note of that real fast pace part there right before the end, and I think it's a great song. I think it's almost an almost perfect song. I think that last 45 seconds or so was just a little bit too long. Kind of lost me there, lost my interest there at the end when I feel like they should have finished strong instead. But that's it as far as complaints go. Other than that, I really enjoyed the song. It was a lot of fun. Like I said, different enough to where I'm like, wow, this band's so versatile. But similar enough where I'm like, yeah, this is a King Gizzard song. This is for sure. This one sounds great. So anyway, let's break it down like we always do. Let's start here with these lyrics. All right, so meet me, glassy-eyed, blind and divine. Hold down the fort on the coastline. The castle is a pimple on the face of our orb, a humble spot for clues to drop if you eavesdrop. To me, the crumbling castle is humanity. That's kind of what I get from this song. So meet me, glassy-eyed, blind and divine. Hold down the fort on the coastline. The castle is a pimple on the face of our orb. So I do feel like King Gizzard kind of feels like humanity is a kind of a bad spot of the earth. Almost responsible for its destruction, more or less. So yeah, it's like the castle is basically just a pimple. Humanity is a pimple on the face of the earth, a humble spot for clues to drop if you eavesdrop. I see through the bricks to the sea, crumbling castle. So I think what he's saying here is I see through humanity. I see through kind of our what we say and what we do, and I see nature, the sea. Waters rising up, thick and green, crumbling castle, inching closer each century, crumbling castle. So as time goes on, the ocean is coming ever ready to kind of take over humanity. Are we safe in our citadel? Is our structure of humanity, is our civilization going to save us? Look upon our condition, crumbling castle. You would not believe where I'm from, crumbling castle. We wait for the death that does not come, crumbling castle. Dug all the holes in God's acre, crumbling castle. We even said our last rites, crumbling castle. Are we safe in our holding cell? So to me, it sounds like I'm not too sure here how this fits in with the metaphor. Actually, we wait for the death that does not come, crumbling castle. Dug all the holes in God's acre, crumbling castle. To me, the dug the holes in all of God's acre to me sounds like we've used nature to its full extent. We've dug up, unless it's talking about like burial plots, right? We wait for death, so I guess we're building burial plots. I'm not too sure. This one kind of loses me here. Look upon our condition, crumbling castle. We head to our extinction, crumbling castle. So again, to me, the crumbling castle is humanity itself. And so it's like, look upon the human condition. We're basically killing ourselves. We're leading to our own downfall. The sounds of the constant lightning would be enough to block out the thought of the end of the world if it were not for our tinnitus from the bomb. So tinnitus, I think I said tinnitus. Tinnitus, is it tinnitus or is it tinnitus? Whatever. It's that ringing in your ear, especially if you've done like music for many years, or if you listen to a lot of loud music and stuff like that. It's where your ears basically have this constant ringing, and you can also, I think, just be born with it anyway. But yeah, it's. I think verse 4 was super clever in its delivery. It's like, we'd be able to see the impending doom if we weren't killing ourselves, dropping bombs on each other, that kind of thing. In the wind I sway back and forth, I'm brittle as an aged human being. So again, to me, this sounds like humanity. Humanity itself is as brittle as an aged human being, where my walls are safe from wild weather. The filth forms into great nastiness. Polygon Dwanaland. That's an interesting word. I have no idea what it means or if it means anything. I don't want to be a crumbling castle. Don't want to be a crumbling castle. I wonder if he says kind of like saying I don't want to be human. And so someone has mentioned that this does kind of tie in with Hantayumi, how Hantayumi wanted to be human but lost its humanity. I think here this person is saying, I don't want to be human. I want to, I don't want to be part of this crumbling castle. I don't want to fall into dust. I don't want nothing but to live on. The ache inside my keep spurs me on. I don't want to be invisible. Polygon Dwanaland. I don't want to be a crumbling castle. On this very day, in 1,000 years, the earth will be relative to the sun and the moon, and a new world will be created. I know because it is written here. I think that might be a reference to Hantayumi also, where his vomit takes over the entire universe. It's all going to be relative. There's going to be a new world made entirely of vomit. And I know that because it's written here in our other album. I don't know. I see through the bricks to the sea, crumbling castle inching closer each century, crumbling castle. Water rising up, thick and green, crumbling castle. Are we safe in our citadel? And again, to me, this is a song about environmentalism and how how humanity is kind of killing itself, because they like to reference the sea, the thick green sea rising, whenever they talk about the climate change and what have you. So that's kind of the message that I get from this one. Look upon our condition, crumbling castle. You would not believe where I'm from, crumbling castle. I don't want to be a crumbling castle. Yeah. So to me, lyrically, this one is just as interesting as any King Gizzard album that I've heard, or song that I've heard. It's got a lot to look into. It's got a lot to think about, and I'm sure it has its nice fit into the Giz verse, as people like to call it, that I'm currently unaware of. I am just going off of what I hear from certain songs. And I'm sure someone's written the whole Gizverse mythos out there. I just haven't really paid any attention to that yet. So to me, this does kind of fit in with Hantayumi, which I listened to recently, and the whole Murder of the Universe. And it could be a reference to that, sort of like a premonition of that happening as well. I'm not entirely sure, but for me, I think this band does love to talk about environmentalism a lot. So I think, at least on the surface, this is an environmental song, just like many of their songs are. But lyrically, to me, it's interesting enough. It has a lot of fun parts. I think, to me, the weakest part is the I don't want to be a crumbling castle part. I feel like without that, it actually might be a little bit more enjoyable. And so for that, I'll give it like a 1.5. I feel like that's the one little splotch on this song. It just wasn't very interesting to me. And there at the end, it really made the song kind of drag on a little bit. I will say, though, instrumentally, the song was a lot of fun. The bass really carried me through the first half of the song. I really loved the bass line that they had going throughout. The groove was just real nice. It made for a really fun listen. The guitar throughout was a lot of fun as well. A few sort of solos here. Some really nice guitar riffs. Some heaviness during some parts. Just a whole lot of fun. Undeniably a King Giz song because of the guitar. I really paid attention mostly to the guitar and the bass. I honestly can say I really didn't pay too much attention to the drums, but there wasn't anything glaring to me, so I think the drums did fine. But really the bass and the guitar kind of carried me through this one. The guy's voice sounds great as always. I like some of the small touches like the flute and whatnot. They always like to throw in a few pieces to make the song a little bit different, a little interesting, a little quirky, and they definitely achieved that here, and it was a lot of fun. So instrumentally, vocally, I think it sounds great. It's a fun song. Like I said, just composition-wise, if they could cut out that last part and end on that really fast-paced, heavier part right there at the end of verse, 7? I think that would have made the song that much stronger. I do think it kind of droned on a little bit too long with that last part. But if they would have just kind of ended the song there after that heavy, fast-paced part, I think it would have been a much better song. But still good for what it's worth. I already kind of knocked a point off for the composition there in the lyrics. I'll give 2 points here, 2 full thumbs up. And then as far as the replay value, every King Gizzard song I've heard has gone on my playlist. I listen to it regularly. Robot Stop has probably been my favorite, I will say. That's the one that gets the most play out of King Giz for me. Just it's so fast-paced, it's so fun. But this one's up there. I mean, this one's pretty good. It definitely has a lot of replay value for me. I give it 2 thumbs up as well. So overall, just a really fun request, guys. Thank you so much for requesting this one. I have plenty more King Gizzard. They've made so many albums, so much music. I could probably listen to them for the rest of the life of my channel and never get tired of them, honestly. They've been a lot of fun. They've just been one of my favorite bands, like I said. So keep the requests coming. I do have, like I said, plenty of requests from them. You'll see see more from them in the future for sure. If you like the music, go support the artists. Go listen to them wherever you can. One place you can definitely find them is in my Spotify playlist. It's in the description below. It's got every single song I've listened to so far on my channel. If you want to support me, just all the normal stuff you do on YouTube, guys. Like and subscribe and comment. That's it from me. Hope you're staying safe and healthy, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.